You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network.
What's good, everybody? Happy Monday. This is the 14th of October, and I just recently celebrated and still celebrating my birthday, which was on the 10th. And as I started to prepare myself for today's segment, I really kind of just had to have a moment and be still. And I must say I've been in a very, very reflective mode, if nothing else, over the last week and probably leading up to my birthday, because for many, I think you can attest to this, 2024 has come so fast. Being born in the latter part of the year, as a kid, I can remember feeling like it took 2 years for my birthday to come. Now it feels like it comes every 6 months. And with that being said, sometimes it makes you really think about how much and what you're doing in the process and how you're spending your time. What are you giving your attention to? What are you doing for yourself in the midst of time? And how does that impact your life, right? And so I found myself, just trying to being quiet. I usually try to take a little time and try to be quiet so that I can allow what message I want to convey come to me. And today I found myself really checking in with myself. And I said, I think this would be a very good topic to have in conversation, because I think a lot of times we don't necessarily sometimes sit still enough to account for things as it pertains to ourselves. And we can always have room to improve different things, but it is just as important as you're, observing life, that you also check in with yourself and see how things are, how you're feeling, how you're thinking, what is lingering around you. And the best way to know and get that answer is to do just what I just said. Check in with yourself. Y'all know what time it is. It's Monday, and it's time for Sonny's Monday Motivation. Let's go. Welcome to Loudmouth Radio Network. My name is Sonny. As a former professional athlete turned entrepreneur realtor and the producer of Loudmouth Radio Network, I look forward to bringing content to you that empowers, inspires, and entertains you. Tune in each week as we have unscripted and unfiltered talks from entrepreneurship, real estate, politics, entertainment, comedy, LGBTQ topics, day-to-day life, and everything in between. All shows available on demand 24/7 on your favorite podcast platforms. Center Temecula Valley areas and throughout the Inland Empire. Are you looking to become a homeowner in 2024? Register today for the New Home in the New Year seminar hosted by Sold by Sonny. Let's get you from rental to homeowner in the new year. Get the latest insight of down payment assistance programs, whether you purchased a home before or purchasing for the first time. We want to make sure you're provided with the necessary information needed for you to buy your new home in 2024. Look forward to seeing you there.
Hi, I'm Hector Calvillo of J&H Automotive, located at 611 West Florida Avenue in Hemet, California. We are a full-service automotive repair shop where you can always expect to receive the highest quality repairs, fairest pricing, best customer service in the industry. My brother George and I grew up watching our dad work on classic cars as a backyard mechanic. His hard work ethic and dedication led us to opening up J&H Automotive in 2009. We started out with a 500 square foot repair shop, and we have consistently grown over the past 15 years to our new 10,000 square foot repair facility in the heart of Hemet. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Call 951-766-5999 to set an appointment for all your automotive service needs.
Hello, my name is Takasha Smith. I'm the owner of Takasha's Kitchen, based out of Menifee in the Southern California area. As a chef and caterer, I provide private cooking classes, couples dinners, and private parties. As a female pitmaster, I am able to create a personalized experience for your family reunion gatherings. I create menus based on my clients' needs to have a more personal vibe. You can find Takasha's Kitchen on all social media networks such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and my YouTube channel at Takasha's Kitchen. And that's spelled TAKASHAS Kitchen, KITCHEN.
You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network.
So we're going to have a real self-reflective aspect of conversation, I guess you could say. And reason being is because if you don't really know, this content on Mondays is dedicated to personal development, transformation spaces. And in order for anyone to have any type of real substance, it starts with self. So I do talk about things that give highlight to perspectives of various things going on in the world, but a lot of it's going to start from the conversation from ourselves. And a lot of how our life projectile has a lot to do with how we feel about ourselves. And one way you can really tell, I think, how your life is looking in spaces and amongst people is by observing the way people respond to you, how they talk to you, how they think of you, how they reflect on you, how they speak about you when you're not in the room. Now, I know you may say, Sonny, that's kind of understand. That's hard to know what somebody's saying if I'm not in the room. Well, most times, if you do have a collection of people in different, people have different groupings of people, and you have some that are social, some are personal, some are professional, some are in passing. And there's times when the cool thing about social media is that people can speak on you or say things or make reflections, like I said in the first part of the broadcast, my birthday was a few days ago. And so in the midst of, looking at the day as it was coming upon me so fast, I had this thought of reflection. This is my word, I guess. I had this thought of reflection, and I wanted to have a synonymous message that could reflect where I felt like I have been and have been simmering in thoughts of. And a lot of that came back to looking at myself and saying, okay, we're at this point, we're celebrating another year, but what does that mean? What has this following year meant for you? And getting to the point of saying, God, thank you for another year. And it made me have to take a account of what my 49 years have been. And I did this small visual poetic segment, I should say. And I think what I'll do is I'll drop it in here and let you hear it. It is on my YouTube channel on Loudmouth TV, to where you can see the slideshow of the poetry that I wrote. And it was a letter to myself celebrating 49 years. And, of course, it's totally impossible to put a consumption within. I think I made a 1 minute, maybe 40-second clipping that is a rotation of images. And for probably the last 5 or 6 years, the imbalanced parts of my life really showed up to me in the part of me putting that video together, because there's pictures of people and things that I don't necessarily know where they are. I've lost them. And even as a kid, I realized I don't have a lot of my, young adult into early adulthood. Unfortunately, back in the day before we did have social media, a lot of us had photo albums and pictures. And so I went through a big storage loss that unfortunately had a large consumption of pictures for myself and friends and family and memories that I totally won't get back. A big part of that packaging of things that was in that storage, like my professional, all my paperwork, my passport. I kept those things because they were like little safe keeps I wanted to hold on to. So my passport that had my visa, my professional basketball player credentials, my articles, my college basketball write-ups, my professional media write-ups, my time living in France, my time living in Sweden, my high school, my elementary. Like, guys, when I tell you a big, large part of my life of those memories in physical visual effect I don't have. So sometimes I might have friends or family that'll post something on social media and I'll try to grab it and save it because I all my yearbooks, all 4 years of my college yearbooks, all of the notes that my classmates wrote to me, I lost all my yearbooks. So sometimes my classmates, they'll post pictures of like elementary school, middle school, high school pictures. And I'm like, oh my God, first of all, I'm horrified when I see some of the pictures. But hey, it is what it is, honey. You heard of the ugly duckling. Hey. But I'll save those pictures and, and seeing them, it makes my heart smile and it makes me have a moment of reflective thought of what took place at that time when those pictures were taken. And so when I tell you guys, a lot of people don't even realize how important things like that can be until you lose them. And so pictures with my mother and my father, I have very little pictures left of my dad. He died in 2005. And, my mother has gone through her bout having a stroke and that basically, taking her from a very active adult to someone that has been disabled from her stroke. And so one of the two things that I do have of that stretch, I try to put things into the slideshow, and then because of time and I have so much that I'm working on, I'm not gonna lie, I have so many things that I'm working on right now. I just didn't have a lot of deep dive ability to pull up a lot of the images I would have loved to been able to archive and put into this slide piece. Right. So I have a whole nother sibling and nieces and great nephews that I didn't even have their pictures in reflection of some of the family dynamics that I showed in that piece. But needless to say, this letter of mine that I wrote to self was to give an aspect of grace to me. I think that sometimes we can put a lot of pressure on ourselves just to survive, to live, to function, to interact with others, because there's a lot in the development of self. And I think people don't really necessarily recognize it until they're faced with different things. And I think you'll have these moments of reflection. And I'm not saying that you should walk around every day, all day thinking about being your higher self or blah, 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 blah. But in a way, if you're a spiritual person, then you definitely may have some time period day to day, whether it's in the morning you get up and you pray. If it's at night, you go into bed, you pray. If it's during the course of the day, you might be meditating. You may also be, taking some time to daydream or just try to have an analysis of what is going on with you. So to me, those are the points and times when you are still checking in with self, right? Your prayer time is the time when you and your higher self and the universal aspect of your spirituality is coming together. And you're taking the time to block out everything else that's around you and actually go within a little bit. You may also be reflecting on what it is that you want to see pass in your life, or things that you may want to give up, or things that you may want to have drawn or that you want to magnetize to yourself, right? So in order for those types of things to take precedence, you have to take the time to check in with yourself. It's very important. You have to have this me time that has to take place. It's a date with self. Whether it's for a few minutes, hours, days, you'll hear people say, oh yeah, I maybe took, for my birthday, I went to the spa, I had a massage, I had this, I had that. And normally for some people, that may be the only time that they really put forth the effort to focus on themselves, or someone else makes it a important part of that moment for you. So if you're like me, you'll be running and stuff like that. And it's one of those things that is so warm and welcoming for others to say, hey, Sonny, happy birthday, or congratulations on this or that. And I'll say thank you. And then I'm ready to, kind of take in whatever's going on. And, sometimes you got to learn how to receive, right? You got to learn how to receive compliments. You got to learn how to receive grace. You got to learn how to receive thank yous and gifts. Sometimes people have hard times with that, right? And it's not that I want to say I have a hard time receiving those things, but I think that I take them as graciousness, that people are taking the time to think about me, say something, recognize me, give me some type of flower or token or mention. And so this makes me go back to the point of when I say you may not be in a room with somebody, but social media kind of gives that opportunity for you to see how people may think about you. Because if you go up and down your timeline, let's just say for your birthday, because that's most times when people probably get the most interaction from a large realm of people, unless you're a heavy influencer, right? And people will say, hey, happy birthday. And they may say something else. Most times people may just hit the thing that precursors Facebook, for instance, gives you and say, hey, it's such and such and such birthday. You can give them a post and you can just click it and boom. But those who take the time to say happy birthday and then ... To me, I say graciously thank you, because you took the time out to think enough about me. You took the time enough to say, hey, I hope your day is this. I hope you have this. It's been a long time, blah, 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 blah. And I just appreciate it. And it gives you a snapshot sometimes of how others think about you and how they feel about you. And so with that being said, we have also become sometimes so absorbed that we don't pay attention to things that are happening around us, or we don't recognize when people are maybe trying to, make a effort to connect to you. Like today, I had a thought of someone that I said, okay, Spirit, I need to remember to reach out to them, because it's been a few weeks since they reached out to me. And I know that we get busy, and I know I'm not the only one that does this. But I try to, become more consciously obedient about when people come into my thoughts, to either text or call if I can, or make a note to myself to reach out to them, because guys, so many things are happening these days and we're all busy, right? But have you had that time when you've reached out to somebody and they didn't get back to you, they put you off, they didn't respond, they didn't show up, they didn't do something, and it made you feel like, kind of felt some kind of way? So I try to keep that in mind myself, so that I can be more accountable to be responsive to other people when they reach out to me. Not to say that you may not forget sometimes, or get so busy that it slips your mind, or you have to say, I have to spin the block and get back to it. That is the absolute truth. But there's also these other times that we have to force ourselves to, one, check in on ourselves, and two, also be accountable to other people who are checking in or touching or connecting to us, because there's this whole aspect of busyness that is happening. And I know, like, for most people, I feel like the world has sped up. The days feel shorter. We're starting to enter. See, I love this fall weather. This is my season. I love that latter part of the summer coming into the fall. And, I can do 70, 80s all day long, right? And I love the cooler nights too. I'm not a non-seasonal, all seasons person. I am. But I it's something about the fall that just has such a more calmer state. I just don't like that we get dark so early. If I could stay with longer days of sunlight, this type of weather scheme, and then the beautifulness that you see of the flowers and the fall colors and things of that stuff emerging, it could be just this perfect space. But that's just my reflection, right? But it's amazing how we can laundry list things, but it's when we can have reflective aspects of loss that it makes things even bigger or deeper, or we lose something. So when I was making that video clip of my letter to myself and that visual effect, I realized how much of gaps I had. Right. And those gaps also made me think about the people that have been in those times and stages of my life. I've gone on, I'm a year away from 5 decades of living. And I say that with full knowledge of appreciation for my life, because every day it's just becoming, and I know people die every day, but it just seems to be so much more hitting home with people who I've interacted with, I share rooms with, I share spaces with, I've been in events with, I've had, education with, I've had life societal interactions with, and it's painful to see so much loss happening so fast. And I think what makes it feels like it's so fast is because when they step away or they're gone, it's like, man, I don't have another opportunity to say this or do this or see you or be around you or listen to you, you know, as you're talking to me. Now there's only things that's left behind. Right. So I think it's important, guys, that we just have to make sure we are tuning into ourselves and making sure we're accountable for ourselves and in the spaces that we're creating amongst other people. I think that is equally important that we make it be not an unusual thing to be kind or considerate or accountable. These are the things that have helped our society to be molded, and it's important that we hold on to them. So I'm going to close out and add that piece of my little poetry. I wrote it that day that I was accumulating. I found all these pictures, and I wrote the poem first. Then I found all the pictures and I edited everything and put it up. It took me a few hours to do on my birthday and the night of going into my birthday. And I just felt like I wanted to start my birthday off and into my birthday with reflective, positive energy for myself. And also to take an account for where I am right now. Right. And, you know, in gratitude, even in that sense of what I've been able to do, but what greater, more work I know I have to still be left to do. So I just commend anybody who is working on themselves, who is taking the time to level up and, you know, make your time on this earth count. Right. Because, you know, we might get caught up on what we want, but what are you doing in reflection of other people? I just feel so heavy in my spirit to just keep saying that and make that statement be known because it's important. And I hope that we are becoming better at recognizing that nobody has perfection in their blood in that way. God has made us all perfect in his image. But as people, we all are having our own human experiences. Now, if we're not consciously and accountably working with integrity within our time and place, hey, you'll find very quickly how the world feels about it. Right. And even then we have an opportunity to tweak. I think that the gift is time. You know, I remember 1 year, and this is going to be my closing part of this. I remember 1 year during New Year's, I turned on the television and this priest was talking in the synagogue and giving a New Year's resolution of, not New Year's resolution, but giving a New Year's sermon. And one of the things he said, I will always remember, and I hold on to it because it was such a treasure to hear it put into that space. But he said that God gives us time, and time is grace. And grace is the thing that we probably most need more than most things that we look at and have in the physical. Because if we have more time, there's more opportunity. And we have more opportunity. That means that we're giving more grace. Because guys, when I tell you, there's a lot of people that you'll see today that may not be here at the end of this year. And for me, every day I get a chance to be more. That's my ambition. So I'm parting with you guys. Hope y'all have a blessed week and be great on purpose. Peace.
You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network.
What up, everybody? This is Sonny, your loudmouth of comedy. I got something to share with you guys. You listening? Check it out. Sonny's Loudmouth Comedy Presents is coming to what? Shooters Bar and Grill of Temecula. We're doing comedy and karaoke every third Wednesday live comedy event, right? We're doing open mic, feature comics, and we're topping it off with karaoke. Now, this is the best part. I need you to get your tickets. We're doing advance tickets and table reservations. We're not doing anything at the door, which means you need to get your tickets. And you need to go to where? Loudmouthcomedy.com. That's LOUDDMOUTH, loudmouthcomedy.com, all together. Get your tickets. Tell the homies. You can get you some reservations for tables, seating. Also, listen, if you are a comic or maybe you do spoken word or you might sing or something like that. You want to take part in the open mic? I need you to go to loudmouthcomedy.com and get your opportunity to get registered and signed up for the open mic. It's limited spaces. Don't let me tell you I didn't tell you ahead of advance. Now you gotta do this in advance, right? And you need to be registered well in advance, okay? So you need to go to loudmouthcomedy.com. Uncontrollable laughter, great food, drinks, and a comfortable atmosphere. I can't wait to see you.